Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. The big question we're asking today, and I'm sure some of you would have watched those strange questions in a teaser which you have seen. How can you kickstart a career in data science and AI ML? I'll probably rephrase this question to how can I kickstart a career in data science and AI ML? And to answer this question and many more related questions from me and from each one of you who are present in this discussion, we have a very highly accomplished panel with diverse backgrounds, with a lot of experience, and more importantly, the relevant experience and views to answer your questions. So on this note, let me do a brief introduction of the panelists which we have. First, I would like to welcome our ever charming Hari. Hari, if you can turn on your camera, make yourself visible to everyone, be great. Yeah, hi Hari.
I guess you can see me.
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
So
great.
Hari is a leader business development and academia relationships for IBM Systems, a very well-known name, just not in the space of data science, AI, ML, with respect to IBM, but otherwise as well his experience. And I would probably, once I do a brief introduction of each of the panelists, I will let Hari himself introduce and take us through his journey so that we all understand what kind of experience he comes and shares with us. Next, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Mamatha Venkatesh, Senior Technical Architect of IBM Sustainability Software. Mamatha, hi, you could all see Mamatha. And then we also have Lalit Sachan,
Hey
who
everyone.
is a co-founder of Edvancer Eduventures, a teacher who has been teaching and training students, in data science for a very long and AI ML for a very long period of time. And once again, I will leave the introduction to individual panelists. And of course, I'm your host for the evening, Sumanth. I represent GUS Global University Systems, which is a conglomerate, of educational institutions globally, and I head the business of Edology, which is the online learning vertical of GUS. So on this note, to everyone who's listening, it's great to have you here. If you have any queries, like I mentioned earlier, please type in the chat window. We'll pick them up and answer them at the end of the discussion. And on this note, let me invite each of the panelists, starting with Hari, to please introduce yourself, and probably then we'll start with our discussions. Hari, please.
Sure. Good evening to everybody present. Thank you, Sumanth, for this warm welcome to everyone. Good evening, everyone listening and attending this webinar. Thank you so much for taking out your time to join us. My name is Hari Ramasubramanian. I work with IBM. This is my 23rd year in IBM and overall about 34 years in the industry. And I've been working with some of the very leading academic institutions across India, Asia Pacific region, and where I work very closely with the organization, the universities, and I love actually interacting with students over the last 15, 18 years. I've been closely interacting with them. So that's my profile in short. Yes. Thanks. Thanks for being there today.
Thanks, Hari. I'm sure our audience would like to hear a lot more from you. Mamatha, may I request you to take us through your profile and share your few bits what you believe about what you feel about this webinar.
Thank you so much, Sumanth. And I'm Mamatha Venkatesh, Senior Technical Architect at IBM Sustainability Software. So I carry close to 2 decades of industry experience. I call myself a trailblazer because I kind of get to try out all new things firsthand. And I'm a neurodiversity ally as well. So in my experience, I have been leading a lot of first of a kind AI implementation projects, and my passion has been on researching the pain points of different customers, proposing technology solutions, leading the AI transformation journey for our customers. And I take also the privilege to say that I'm an IBM CSR alumni, and I also part of Society of Women Engineers Global Ambassador. And I also get a lot of opportunities to present in the conferences like V Local, Grasshopper Conference, MLDS, and so on. Uh, it's a wonderful opportunity for the Edology team to invite me here. Happy to be here and looking forward for the engaging conversation. Thank you.
Happy to have you, Mamatha. You look like a personification of women empowerment in true sense. Okay, it's happening there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to have you, Lalit. I would also request you to please share a few things about you.
Sure. So first of all, about the webinar, I'm pretty excited to be here, and I'll be really happy if I can help anybody in any way in progressing their career in ML. As Sumanth mentioned, that I have been into machine learning consulting and training for more than 10 years now, and this has been for thousands of individuals and as well as corporate teams, which are either at a very beginning level or getting ahead in adopting more advanced technologies. Teams from Bank of America, JP Morgan, Deloitte, ENY, G Capital, and the likes. Uh, since I'm a teacher, I think you would want to know some bit about where I'm coming from. So, by education, I'm an engineer and a statistician. I did my bachelor's from IIT Kanpur and then master's from ISI Calcutta. I did start my career as a credit risk analyst back in 2008 and then wore various hats in data roles. But eventually, I found my true calling, that is to teach people in ML, maths, and stats. And I've been loving that. Yeah, that's
Great,
about me.
great, Lalit. I think probably just to close on this conversation, let me also introduce myself. I am Sumanth. I'm an engineer. Then I did my MBA from IIM Kozhikode. My first job was with Sony Entertainment Television. I've been one of the founding team members of IPL, Indian Premier League, a very big league today. Working with the likes of Lalit Modi, MS Dhoni's, your Tendulkar's, yeah, all the big
Yeah.
names. Initial first couple of years of my career has been with them. Been into education for more than a decade as an entrepreneur, setting up and training students, on skill development, along with NSDC and other pioneering institutions of our country with NASCOM and everyone, to make them more employable, help them upskill in their careers. That has been my very long experience. And of course, I've been with, we've founded and creating a lot more larger impact at a global level through Edology for the last couple of years. And yeah, today I'm here as a host with this very accomplished panelist. If you look at the cumulative experience of this panel, around 2020, around 15. So we are looking at around 60 odd years of, but don't look so, but at least at an experience level, cumulatively, we bring in almost 60 years of our experience of dealing with the students, with careers, with with industry, with academia. I'm sure for all our learners, this would be really a learning experience for the next an hour or so. And then now I'll let me dive straight into some of the important areas which I would request the panelists to answer. I'll probably address the questions very specific to each and every panelist, and then you can share your views on that. Before I actually start off asking a question, just a brief to understand what is happening. I'm sure the minute you hear about data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, or needless to say, nobody needs introduction on these words. They are like the buzz, the hype around the skills is very high. Statistically, reports showcase the fact that global market size of data science and analytics is expected to be around whopping $415 billion by 2025. Oh, amazing. These numbers stun, which also means at an employee, at a resource, at an employee level, the competition will be very fierce. Everybody's talking about data science. Everybody's talking about being trained in data science, developing the skills in data science. And that's where, Lalit, my first question is to you.
Hmm.
Because you have been training a lot of students and you've been interacting with a large group of students, especially on these essential tech skills,
All right.
in such a super competitive, cluttered a space of data science and AI ML careers, how does one differentiate oneself from others in this job market? How do they make themselves stand out, both at a resume level and
Mhm.
also to be selected into one of the premier projects or premier companies which look for data scientists, which look for people who are aware of machine learning in AI? What do you believe are the necessary differentiating skills?
Right. So first, let's understand where the clutter is coming from. There are a lot of now that everybody's talking about data science ML, there are a lot of blogs out there, videos out there, small courses out there, free resources out there, and people, go through a couple of them and they think they have what it takes to be, a data science or ML practitioner. That's not really the case. So what really differentiates is one, you have end-to-end skill set. And there are two kinds of skill sets to have. One is the ability to relate business problem to data problems, and you develop that by working on mature and close to industry projects, not the toy problems that you find in blogs. And on the technical fronts, having knowledge of, say, one of the scripting language like R and Python, database languages like SQL, some visualization tools, and a little bit of maths and stats which goes on behind. And I don't think any one blog post or free series of videos essentially covers all that. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. Having gone through an end-to-end structured program is what prepares people for an ML career, I guess.
So let me then hear this from direct from the industry also. And Mamatha, I would like to ask you this question. IBM is one of the biggest tech giants in the world today, and your pool of talent is very diverse, pretty impressive, needless to say. Now, I'd like to understand from you, when you hire people with a background, when they come and say, I have done maybe a learning in data science or AIML or some kind of a specializations, what is that you are looking for? And especially in such a cluttered space, and if you are looking at a differentiating profile, and you want them to be working because you've been leading innovations like you mentioned earlier also. So what do you look forward to?
So first of all, Sachin, Sumanth, IBM hires talent at every level, right? So be it for intern or somebody who is starting their career as a fresh graduate or joining IBM as an expert in his or her field, right? Certainly, IBM would be definitely screening based on the current skills and expertise they bring in, based on the projects that they have executed, especially for experienced folks, right? Like what we were also hearing from Lalit that it's just that it's just not a blog or a course that will define their experience. It is basically the actual projects that they would have executed, the real problem that they have dealt with in the industry, right? That is something we would definitely look at for the experienced folks. And when you think about the fresh talent, so it could be based on the college projects, the internship that they would have done with various industries these days. It can be based on the certifications, courses, badges, right? Like, we have a lot of institutions today offering a lot of certifications in a particular field. And in this case, it's on the AI and data science. So, and also, like, we have a talent, we have seen the talent today. They are very active on hackathons, right? Participating in the hackathons, codathons, and they have their own private blogs, right? Professional blogs they have, where they're actually talking about their accomplishments. So all these factors actually come together. Especially, it helps us in the screening, and it helps us to engage on the conversations depending upon the area of work what we are looking forward for, right? And I think this is something. Typically, it sets a tone for us to analyze the problem solving skills, analytical and reasoning skills, and like what Lalit mentioned on the maths or statistics point of view, and some domain knowledge, definitely, right? So, all this collectively as a package, I think that's where we look forward for the talent.
Oh, thanks, Mamata. Hari, I think tying up all these things, can you help us to understand? You worked with a lot of education institutions, you worked with a lot of students, and professionals who are training themselves. And I believe with all the industry experience, academic experience, with Edology, you worked out this program of PGP in data science and AI ML, IBM designing and delivering this program. So how did you bring all these things into this program to make it one of its kind, to help students to become just not relevant but differentiate themselves in this space, and probably help them to upskill, start their careers in data science in AI? Can you throw some light on that?
Absolutely, a very valid question, Sumanth, and it's been a privilege to be working along with the Edology team. The idea behind this program is that we don't want a shortcut to success. Okay, we wanted, as Mamatha pointed out, we wanted the students to really understand, deep dive into the world of data science or AIML for that matter. Uh, to get the understanding starting from scratch. We are not expecting any baggage to come along, in the sense we are not expecting them to be aware of anything before joining this course, because we are starting from foundation level. We are taking them through various aspects of data science and AIML. For example, in data science, it's not just one subject we are looking at data science. There are various areas, avenues which goes in. In today's world, if you context, it is not it's not confined to only IT industry. Data science is now spread across all industry verticals that you can think of, including sports for that matter. And it's being used in board meetings. Actually, data science brings in a lot of value and knowledge for the key decisions to be taken. So that's the reason what we look at from the course perspective is that we want the students to understand the requirement perspective, why you should be learning data science, how it is going to be impacting your careers. Even if you are in an organization working professional, 5 to 8, 10 years of experience, and if you want to fast track your career into the next level, this is the course that you should be going for. What we are actually looking at is, for an example, in data science, we are looking at students to learn or professionals to learn, pick up skills in not just the basics, foundation, understanding of what data science is all about. We take them to like data visualization, because how you present the data is also matters, right? One way to look at it is, okay, you have the data, but what we are going to do with the data, the knowledge. Then we are looking at, there are various avenues of analytics that comes into, like your predictive analytics, you have big data analytics, you have social web analytics, which is a big medium today in today's world. All these social media applications that are there, they actually grab all your data, all your user action and interactions. They grab all this information, but then they take that information and bring out knowledge out of it. So how do you do that? So using social media analytics. And finally, we also ensure that you apply these knowledge, the skills that you've gained through this course, you apply this knowledge through a capstone project and really understand what you have learned, why you have learned, and how it can be put to use. So that's the reason this entire model has been created. It's a very unique offering from IBM, and this is nowhere being done across the globe. So this is the first time we are doing it with Edology, where IBM is actually involved in the delivery of the program as well. So otherwise, in the universities, the partnerships, it's basically the university gets into delivery model, but it's now IBM which is going to be delivering, our subject matter experts in this, and with experience in working professional experience when deploying applications on data science and AIML, they will be actually be involved in the training as a matter of that. So that's the uniqueness that we are bringing into the table.
Amazing, Hari. So if I might rephrase this, for our learners, or probably summarize it, so you will, hear it directly and learn it directly from people who have been there, have done that from the horse mouth.
Absolutely right.
I think, if I were aspiring data scientist or an AIML, career, I think this is really exciting for me, because when I get to learn it from from the person who's probably doing it, it's always a better learning, right?
Yeah.
So, Lalit, a question to you again. Many of those listening in today, I think I've always started seeing these questions coming up also, are professionals from diverse backgrounds. They need not necessarily be who are the people who are actually doing their careers already in data science or AIML. Some might be working with fashion. Somebody said they are from civil background, retail, aviation, e-commerce. I think there are multitude of domains, and something which we are seeing a lot of people who are showcasing interest in our programs also. And they might be wondering as well, gaining knowledge in data analytics and AI, will it help them to become better at their own domain? Can they grow in their domain? Can they upskill or have a career growth, or can they shift the careers? See, these are all the kind of questions they have it on their mind. Having trained 8,000 more than 8,000 students as data scientists, do you think this domain specific understanding and diversification of data analytics will catapult them to higher heights in their existing fields? Lalit?
You're on mute, Lalit.
My bad. Okay, so just to answer a broader question about that, learning AI ML today is not about switching careers. It's not a different domain. It's a new vertical, like IT was in the 90s, right? And now it's part of every business. In fact, it is difficult to find a domain where AI ML is not being used. If I remember in one of the talks, Andrew NG mentioned when he was pushed for that, okay, find a domain or place where AIML is not used, the quickest example that he could manage was barbershops. But okay, that is where AIML hasn't found its place. So yes, I think having these skill sets is necessary from the perspective of being prepared for the future. Moreover, people who are currently working across different domains, we are looking at managers of the future. And to become one, you've got to have skills of the future too. Imagine not knowing Excel in today's, uh, s- in general corporate world. AI ML is going to be that kind of skill set in a couple of years. I believe so. Of course, not everybody has got to be a PhD in ML, but basic understanding of statistics and then data visualization, data summarization, and in some specific scenarios, data modeling as well is going to be a key skill set to have across domains. And yeah, I mean, be it logistics, be it medicine, be it sports, as Hari mentioned, everywhere data and its usage is making its way.
Great. So
So
that means, irrelevant or independent of the domain they are in,
yeah,
this is a relevant skill to possess for almost every person in their domain to look to upskill themselves.
I
And
believe so.
that's,
Yes.
yeah, that's how I understand. So Hari, then how do we incorporate? I mean, this is the kind of openness towards these skills. When you were working, with students, when you were creating this unique program like you have mentioned earlier, how did you incorporate those aspects, especially when there are specializations, diverse backgrounds into the program? For example, somebody from commerce, again, one of the our students or one of our listeners says that I am from commerce. Okay, so how did you blend that into the program which IBM is working with Idology right now?
Yeah, actually, that is a general, what do you call, a concern, if I may say so, that comes up is that, okay, I'm from this background or that background. Can I pick up these skills? There might be some programming skills which might come in. Will I be able to do that? So like, for example, in AIML, there is a lot of requirement for Python programming. In data science, there is a lot of requirement for Python programming. However, as I said earlier, Sumant, is that what we have looked into as when we were designing this entire concept of this program, we wanted to take that into consideration that, okay, there might be students or people at large might be coming from various backgrounds with various experience or no experience at all, coming and joining this program. So how do we do that? How do we cater to different audiences in the same classroom, right? So we have the way we have designed this program, with, of course, with the help of our experts who have been working in this field, is that we looked at how the first step is required, like the foundation, which will make them understand what this world is all about. Okay, get them to understand the basics, get them to understand the requirement, starting from like even introduction. The course itself is takes care of your how analytics works in an Excel program, a worksheet, right? How you start from that. Okay, the stepping stone to analytics world, right? And from there onwards, we get them to understand, give them understanding of like Python programming, and it's such a programming language that it doesn't take a lot of skills to understand and learn this programming language. In fact, now students in schools are learning Python programming. So that is something that we get them to understand and learn that skill. We help them do program some of the lab exercises for every course. There are applied aspects, so they will be actually working on labs online. Once they complete a particular module, they'll be actually applying that knowledge into a practical aspect, so that they really understand not just the theoretical aspect of these technology courses, but then they also understand the model of where this fits in. Okay, a particular area, when for example when we say big data analytics, okay, how it is put to use, how do I create applications which will be accessing this information and presenting it in a different way, which is required from the business perspective. So all of this will be taught step by step for everybody, so irrespective of their backgrounds.
Absolutely, I know that really is so comforting for a lot of our audience, because like you are already seeing, a lot of them are expressing that we come from a diverse backgrounds, and how does this particular program train us towards that? A slightly a little philosophical right now, probably. I'm just shifting away from so much of skill learning and everything. This is a little more philosophical question. Mamatha, asking you this question. I think this is a question which is crossing a lot of minds when we talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning. I think I've read somewhere that by 2030, intelligent agents, robots, all this entire gamification could replace as much as 30% of world's current human labor. Okay, so is it a good news, or is it a bad news, concerning news, or a news good for all the people who are looking at careers in this? Is the secondary conversation. So what do you think? What do you think? Does it mean jobs are becoming redundant, or that it means more jobs are being created? Mamatha.
It's both, Sumanth. So basically, I think I'm not going to repeat on the definitions. Most of us are aware of, AI, ML, data science are definitely have caused a lot of disruptions close to a decade for now, right? In the way we have been working, definitely the low paying jobs have been, which have been very repetitive, which was very, monotonous. Like, look at the transportation drivers, food surveys, right? Everything has kind of getting slowly automated and kind of, less labor intensive and so on. And I believe personally, AI is definitely here for helping the people in doing their jobs better, right? I think people have embraced the technologies just like how, we had pagers, mobiles, and now touch phones. And just with mobile, I think you can live your life, right? so, so I definitely feel it has created a lot of jobs, cognitive jobs, I would say. And the main reason for this is because today a lot of organizations are focusing on various applications, based on AI, right? A lot of technology innovations is happening, a lot of tools and techniques we are building. So, that is paving path for, a lot of job opportunities. And to be precise, AI applications need data, and data is the backbone, data is the oil, data is the currency, right? Whatever you want to kind of say. Because of that, we need a lot of skills around data, that is data scientists and AI, to basically to plumb everything based on the data insights and integrate, infuse with the existing applications. And I think there are a lot of examples today. You can see how today technology is helping people to save lives. To kind of even doctors are using bots to take help in terms of prescribing the medicines. Military is using AI bots, and name a field. I think we are there, right? And when I talk from IBM perspective, right, IBM has deployed a lot of automation on the premises for our customers. Like for example, a product called Turbonomic. So this is actually is automating a lot of IT process, the IT infrastructure process, cutting down a lot of human interactions with the IT systems, right? So, and IBM also has robotic automation process where several business areas we have used this, reducing a lot of manual labor. And why it is important? Because it reduces the human error, right? So that's why technologies are a bliss, and at the same time, yeah, in one another way, it is helping the humans, but definitely not taking away all the jobs. People have to continuously upskill and stay updated with the technology. The old legacy, the way of working may not help anymore further. So we have to continuously evolve. We have to continuously upskill ourselves and work forward. And interesting area is the learning portals, the HR systems, and IT departments. Everywhere, I think we have the chatbots, right, which is actually helping. So this is an AI element in between. And even probably the courses today we find, like in Edology, we have very personalized courses, right, like what is suited for an individual. So I think we are actually living in a world where AI is helping in every aspect of our life. So definitely it is creating more jobs. Not to worry, it is not going to take away all the jobs. There is a dearth of the jobs in terms of AI market, in terms of data science market.
So it's about being at the right time, having the right skills,
Yeah,
Right.
and then you have the right career growth. I think that's
definitely,
probably how I will see it.
True.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
True.
Sumanth, if I can add what
Yes, absolutely.
Mamatha was pointing it out. In fact, the course, the AIML course in particularly, which we have designed for our people who are going to join this program, we have specifically designed one module, which is basically talking about AI and ML for industries. Okay, because we are sure, and of course, it's already happening, as Mamta pointed out. It's being spread across different industries, and industries are using AI/ML in a big way. Like for example, during this pandemic, we were using our online shopping tools, or our mobile phones were used for ordering food systems, right? Now we in this course, what we specifically have pointed out how ML is being used in various industries, like for example banking, in healthcare, in insurance, in transportation, energy utilities. So you name it, those industries have been touched upon, and how ML is being differently used in each of those industries. So you get an awareness, a 360 degree view of how ML is used in each of these industries. So when you actually work in an industry, it is not just the programming part of it. When you are interacting with the industry for your customers, end of the day, you will also have to understand their business needs and requirements, and their kind of applications that are being used for their industry, so that when you are creating a solution for their industry, you understand exactly what is the need, and what exactly you need to design. So that is the purpose of that particular module, and it's a very unique module. I don't think so anybody else has such a module as part of the a technical course. So we wanted the application of anything that you learn, you also need to learn the application part of it. So that's the reason I wanted to come in here.
No, no, absolutely. I think that's a very interesting and probably very important input, Hari. Two things I could understand. One, yeah, every thing which is being learned is just not learned at a theoretical level, but at an application level, and it is very, very relevant, especially, and that's something I think we understand when it is being taught by the industry experts themselves. They would like to teach what they are doing or what can be relevant to their own business needs also. And I think
True.
that's one of the greatest advantage the students probably will get out of this particular program. And of course, the second thing, like you said, that uniqueness in creating those modules, specifically understanding what is needed by the industry, what would make somebody stand out or differentiate themselves with respect to others. I think that is a very, very important element, because I mean, this is a question from the audience. So while I have another list of questions, but I would like to bring it on the top. And that the question the audience has asked is that there are so many certification courses. And Hari, and I would like you to answer this. And then Lalit, you can also put in your views on this. There's so many certification questions. Some of them are freely available on internet, through YouTube, through any other entities. Why should somebody really invest into this program? See, end of the day, yeah, I mean, I'm a consumer. For
Yeah.
me, what matters is, okay, I'm putting my money into this program.
Yes.
And what also then, Hari, matters is the kind of tangible outcomes will come out of it. So if I were to ask you these two questions, why should I invest into this program compared to many other certification programs which are available everywhere, across plethora of them across the
Yeah,
internet?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and what do I get out of this at a tangible level?
Yes, one, of course, the that's a very, very important question to be addressed because, as you rightly pointed out, you name it and you will get any search engine will get you many such options which are available for learning such courses, especially, and that also reflects how important these two courses are, right? The more options that you have, that means there is a lot of requirement for data analysts and AIML specialists, and in various forms and shapes. The idea behind, as I earlier pointed out, when IBM is coming into the play along with Edology, we wanted to ensure that when somebody joins a program, it's not a short-term. We can also do, like, there are options available, like you can go and learn data science in 5 days, okay, or 10 days. I don't know how people can learn that. However, that is the reason we didn't want to get into that kind of a model. We wanted anybody joining this program, as you pointed out, outcomes. We wanted them to really pick up these skills. Okay, they have to be able to be proficient enough to be able to work on projects in these areas, and that is the reason we are covering the entire scheme of things, the entire canvas of data science and AI/ML for that matter. And with the capstone projects, they really understand, and that is a specific reason we actually got the industry working professionals to be working on these the courses. The courses have been designed by working professionals, and IBM coming into play. We have about 111 years of experience in the industry. We have been innovating technology, and in the last 28 years, we have been the most patent holder, like the new patents that are getting created worldwide. IBM is the largest new patents creator in the last 28 years, year on year. Okay, and that is the experience that we are bringing into the table. And the modus operandi is also that the courseware, though it has been designed and developed by industry professionals, it is also delivered by the industry professionals. So we can actually give you, it's not just a theoretical aspect. We are actually going to be making and ensuring that you learn the way it should be learned. Okay, and so that there are a lot of practical aspect in it. You do a lot of lab exercises as part of the program, and there are a lot of interactive sessions also which have been designed. So it is not just one-way communication which is happening. So a lot of community discussions will be there. You can resolve some of the queries. There are private chat boards which are there. You can learn or understand. Maybe if you're stuck at one location, you can go back and check that up. Or some of the recordings you can go back and see. There are also visual depiction of the theoretical aspects which are going to be mentioned. So all of these aspects come into the play. Okay, and that is the reason we wanted to ensure that anybody joining this program, they get the money's worth end of the day, and their career progression, if that is the aim that they are going into, that is also taken care. So in short, this is the best design I have seen. I have not seen any such a deeper understanding of a particular area, both AI as well as DS. And we have also ensured that a lot of the capstone project, which is also coming into play at the end of the program, that is also in tune with the application side of the model. So we are actually bringing in those projects which are specifically taking cues from live project. I can't give you a live project, of course, but cues have been taken from some of the deployed and live projects, and those will be provided to anybody who is going to be part of this program.
Oh, great. Thanks, Hari. I think that's really informative about the kind of differentiation this program is bringing in. I'm sure this answers a lot of questions with people who are asking about other programs. So there's no other. There's only one unique and the Big Daddy program, which is from IBM. So for all our learners who probably would have joined a little late, the programs which we are referring to you are two specific programs. My team, will also put in the link to that particular program for you on this chat so that you can immediately refer to this program. So IBM, which is the giant of technology, along with Edology, which is the online learning vertical of GUS, which is again a giant in education. GUS Global University Systems itself is a giant in education, have come together to offer people looking forward to start their careers in AI, ML, and data science, or to upskill themselves to specific programs, which are postgraduate certificate programs in data science and postgraduate certification in artificial intelligence and machine learning. The links have been posted. So these are the programs which we are specifically referring to, which Hari has been talking about. How much effort, I think more than effort, the intent to support the learner, to make them better in their careers, to help them grow, that is more important. I think that is very evident in every effort which has been brought into this program. So please refer to these programs, and as we keep having this conversation, any questions you have regarding specifically towards the program, feel free to ask them, and we all here to guide you on that. Hari, before I leave you on, I think one more question I have, was around this area.
Mm-hmm.
Education is highly outcome driven. Everybody look forward to do something. Yes, while at a learning stage, you have very clearly and elaborate explained the benefits of this particular program, the differentiator. When it translates into a outcome, what kind of benefits at an outcome level students get to see or get to have? I think they've been referred about, at least I know that this program offers them an globally acclaimed IBM badge.
Correct.
Right? Probably the audience might want to know, what does that globally acclaimed IBM badge means?
Yeah.
Career level, at a prospective recruiter level, at an upskilling level. Probably, I know a lot of audience have also been asking this question, are very interested to know what kind of salary increments they might be getting after they complete this program. And
Yeah.
probably will IBM itself hire them? These are all questions I'm sure in the air, and I'm leaving it to you to guide whichever you believe is relevant.
Sure. And I guess that's the really indeed one of the key questions that are being asked. I can see those questions as well. Uh, uh, Outcome, as you said, Sumanth, is that there is at the end of the program, once the student completes the program courses and the project, they will be actually awarded an IBM badge, a digital badge. It's actually equivalent to certificate. One can also print it and showcase it. But the power of the badge comes in when you start using it online. Okay, you can basically starting from using it in your mail closing info. So every time your mailbox sends a mail, your badge also goes along with it, right? Along with your name. That's one. The second way to look at it is that putting it in your electronic resumes. So every time you are sending it out to a potential opportunity, they also get to see the badge. And you can also put it in your social media applications like LinkedIn and attach it, tag it along with your name. So any potential recruiter or anybody known to you who clicks on that badge, they are taken to an IBM worldwide server, and there the badge is also authenticated that this badge has been issued by IBM, and so that validation also happens. So nobody can fudge the badge in any way form. And once the not only just the display of the badge on the authentication happens, it also displays information related to the badge. That is, the owner of the badge who has been awarded the badge has the following skills. Okay, it informs that, for example, if it's a AI ML badge that has been awarded, it will inform the viewer, as in, okay, this particular user who has been awarded this badge has deep learning neural network skills, advanced machine learning skills, or they have worked on machine learning for industries. So these are the kind of project that has been completed by the user. So every information about the course is also displayed along with the badge. So it is no longer, you can't compare it with a certificate, getting it from any other vendor or a source. This is a very powerful mechanism of displaying your credentials. It also has a global recognition, because most of the industry recognizes an IBM badge. They also recognizes the value, the kind of the skill that a particular individual has who has been awarded the badge. So that power comes in as part of the certificate that comes in as part of the program. So that's one, the part A of your question. the part B, the difficult, the most difficult question. The part of the question was the kind of remuneration or packages that one can uh, aim at. Okay, so let me tell you, whatever number I can throw here, that should not be your goal or aim. Okay, you can actually demand multifolds more than that if you get the right kind of skills, if you have been working on the right kind of project, and your outcomes are perfect enough. I don't think so. There should be anything, a ceiling that you should be looking at. Okay, a number that I throw out right now should not be the number that you should be aiming at as a student. However, I have personally seen students who are taking such courses, who have completed such courses, especially in universities that we have executed a longer program. We have seen the ceilings broken every time, every year. Uh, our students who have completed some of these courses, they have actually provided innovative solutions while they were completing the projects. Okay, especially one example was in Dehradun, where we have a UPS university which is partnering with us in a program for BTech students. They actually created a sanitizing apparatus, a physical sanitizing apparatus, which has AI, using AI and IoT as components, and that is a deployed application, like a deployed example, and done by students. Okay, so that's the reason I'm telling you, there should not be any limitation by numbers. You define the number, you ask for that number, and you should be getting it. Okay, and the most important factor is skills. If you have the skills, if you have the relevant experience, you would be able to demand whatever it takes to take you. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Very
thanks.
conveniently answered by Hari on this second part, but I mean, I think some of the reports which at least I personally have gone through, it's a very personal observation from my side. People like Hari has mentioned, there's no upper limit on this number, especially in areas like AI, ML, data science. It always a need based, a demand. It is a
True.
typical demand supply curve we follow. Right now, the need for AIs and data scientists is very, very high.
Yeah.
So the minute you are among the top league, doers, you're going to such programs like this, especially not any program, but programs which will build those skills which are relevant. And when the industry sees that relevance, there are
Yes.
people who've had what 100% in their salary, changes in their salary. Average what report says are at least 50 to 60% growth in their salary. So these are all numbers which are there, which are not just numbers which are being thrown, but they are being put out by reports also. Lalit, in fact, I would like to actually ask you this question because you have trained a lot of people through your own hands. What did you observe? Probably you can share your insights and experiences in the kind of career transformations people have had, just not in terms of remuneration, but in terms of as a profile. Because I keep saying that pre-MBA and post-MBA, I'm a different person. That education of 2 years which I've done is changed me as a person, not just at a career CTC level, but as a human, as a skill person, the way I look at problems today is different. So for the same thing, what has been your experience in that sense?
So what I have seen, people who are going through these kind of courses and giving their 100% to it. First of all, see, one thing that I wanted to answer apart from this question was that getting any job is comes with some other things also, not just ML skill sets. It will People will be looking at the pedigree, the kind of communication skills you have. Everything matters, and AI/ML, as Sumanth, you rightly mentioned, becomes an additional skill set which differentiates you from everyone else. What I've seen happening is uh, currently people who are thinking about the future, thinking about acquiring these more future relevant skill sets, I have seen them ending up at a lot of consulting firms where the work that they do is more visible across organization, because when you're working in a firm like Deloitte and EY, you're not just working for that firm, you're working for tons of other organizations. And the percentage numbers that everybody is asking, 30% or 100%, the percentage is higher, of course, when you are at the beginning of your career, because there is a scope of multifold increase. People who have, say, 10, 14, 15 years of experience, I mean, they are comfortable with the kind of money that they are getting anyway. It's more about that. How am I contributing? How do I stay relevant? And they have made switch within their organization and
True.
to such organization where now their roles are more future ready. They're no longer scared of that, in couple of years the kind of work that I'm being, it's being automated around me, and whether I will stay relevant or not, that fear is gone. And yeah, that's the change I've seen in terms of remuneration. There are percentages down, when you're already at a higher level. Increase of 30, 40, 50% is something that you see. But yes, the number like 100%, that I've mostly seen when people are having 3, 4, 5, 6 years of experience at that level. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mamatha, I'll just take a cue from what Lalit has mentioned. It is just not the skills of AI ML or Python programming. There are a multitude of other few other things also organizations look forward to when they are hiring people, especially into this kind of profiles. So what do you think around it? Do you also follow a similar suite? And if there's, what kind of other softer skills which you would also be assessing them on?
Yeah, so I think soft skills play a very big role, right? Regardless of, I don't want to point it specifically for data science and ML, but as a as we go along working on a technology, soft skills in IT is really uh, kind of what to say, it's an asset that you generally carry on, right? So since this discussion is around more on AI data science, so there are a lot of soft skills that one has to possess, right? One is when you are dealing with a lot of data, so you should be able to identify what data is needed. You need to actually communicate verbally, and your written skills has to be very good, because you need to collaborate with various stakeholders in the organization on the data, right? So first of all, point number one, your written and verbal communication has to be like very good, and if not, right, start polishing it, right? It's very important. And like I think Lalit will agree with me, as you start teaching more and more, especially when you're learning new skill, the teaching skill is what it will take you to the next level, right? So that I strongly believe. So you should share your knowledge, right, based on your learnings and so on. And teamwork, so you should be a very good team player, because you need to have a lot of discussions within the team, and you should have full-fledged focus and productivity. So these are all like package of soft skills. You need to understand the big picture. What is the problem that you're trying to solve? Why the data is important here? What kind of data is important here? So basically, once you understand the bigger picture, you will be able to narrow down to, okay, why am I doing this? What is that I'm going to solve for the real-time customer? So that is something, it's very, very important. And social skills. So teamwork and social skills just go hand in hand. And definitely, as I think Lalit and Hari was talking about, yes, you need to have some programming knowledges, like they were pointing out Python and R and all that. But something when I say is troubleshooting skills definitely falls under soft skills, because
Yeah.
not everybody are very good at troubleshooting, right? How quickly you will solve a problem, how do you differently look at a problem, right? So there is a different knack, I can say, right? That is a different skill that one will possess. Definitely I'll put that under the soft skill. And you need to have lot of patience, because you're dealing with hordes of data coming with in different forms, right? Like structured data, unstructured data. Passion, persistence, patience. All this
Yeah.
go hand in hand. And I think completely all this, it's just not that you'll have on day one of your starting of your career. Over the years you will learn, you will start adding brownie points on each and every attributes. But this is something, it's a must for any career. And for data science, it will be more overwhelming if one possesses this upfront.
In fact, I think to specifically look at this need, Mamatha and Hari, on of course you are the experts who are teaching the learners, especially on the skills of technical skills which are required in terms of data science or relevant learning modules. From ideology, because we come from a lot of academic background, with being with Gus for a very long period of time, we also ensure that any student who's going through a particular program are also trained on these softer skills, right, in terms of communication, right, in terms of the softer elements of problem solving, like Mamatha has highlighted, to ensure that they are not just becoming relevant in terms of technical skills, but also are building the parallel skills which will help them to sustain and move forward,
Right.
right? And
I,
also,
I, yeah.
yeah, there's also mentorship or the kind of a career, mentoring, which will do understanding the profile and help them towards that also. Yeah, Lalit, you were adding something.
Yeah, so I wanted to add that sometimes we see technical skills and soft skills in isolation. That actually is not the case. The more you know about the work the projects that you're working on, the techniques and tools that you're using, the more confident in your business communication you become, more thorough and precise, and to the point your communication becomes.
True.
Yeah, so these are not two isolated skills. That is, I wanted to add. It's not that now you start taking language courses and so on to polish this. You work along with this. And as Mamta and Hari have been mentioning, that one of the key things that recruiters look for is the kind of people have their blogs. They talk about the kind of projects they're working on. And I think that that's a must have for that 40 or 100% increase that you guys are looking for. So do share your knowledge. And of course, for sharing your knowledge, you got to have that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like Hari has already highlighted, I think when the programs were being designed by IBM, they've ensured that that kind of projects are there, which are very practical in application, which somebody learns are ready to be applying kind of preparation. I think that part has been considered very well. Hari, one last question, before we are closing off this session and the conversations. There's a very popular buzzword which is going on right now: get skill, get hired. Okay, so what are your comments on that, and what do you believe? you
Oh,
know
absolutely, absolutely, very, very valid and right on the spot, indeed. Skills is so important. You can't build. There is no way to answer in the sense. If you have the skills, there is no stopping you. Okay, you can demand whatever you want to. Okay, and rise above the average. Okay, that's what we should be looking at. There are people who are ready to do anything to get into a particular job role. Okay, and skills is the primary requirement if you want to get into a job role which is good enough, challenging enough, and prospecting enough. And second thing is that even if you're a existing professional, you can't laugh your way to the bank, or whatever your skills are there in the past, you can't be enjoying that forever. Okay, you have to upgrade and update your skills. In IBM we have this Think 40 program which runs every year for all the employees in IBM across the globe. Okay, and we are actually required to complete 40 hours of learning every year. That's a minimum. Okay, you can't debate that. Okay, but people actually learn 80 hours, 120 hours, 160 hours, 200 hours of learning they put in every year. And we also do certification, okay, to improve our skills. It's not that because I have 34 years of experience, I can just laugh out based on that experience. I need to upgrade my skills as well every year. And that's what every IBMer does. And that is exactly the practice in every other industry as well. Okay, so skills is so much important. You need to upgrade and update your skills. I can give you an example of Kodak here. Okay, Kodak cameras were the best cameras all over the world. And people were like, uh, everybody who wants to buy a camera or the reel that earlier the film rule reels, Kodak used to bring it out, and they were the shareholder. Like 90% of the cameras and films are sold. Kodak were there, and they were ruling the roost, and they were like carefree about it. They didn't want to upgrade their products. They didn't want to bring in new technology, which was coming in. Digital cameras were coming in at that time, and they said, "No way, I cannot be thrown out of it." Now, where is Kodak? Okay, so that is the reason. This is a request. This is a suggestion. This is as a guide. I can tell you, please get your skills the right way. Okay, and get yourself skilled. That will take you to long duration. Okay, and that is what is most important. End of the day, get your skills right.
Absolutely. Again, you're hearing it from the big daddy. Get the skills there, and probably you can get hired as well.
Probably, yeah. Why not?
Yeah, yeah. Let me take a couple of questions from the audience, which before before we close off this conversation, because that's also very important. They have a few questions. I think one question which has popped up, probably, I think I always believe in, I like to answer this question, then probably, Hari, I would like you and others to put in their views. With the question is that, should we look at an offline learning system or should we look at an online learning system, especially when it comes to such kind of upskilling programs? Okay, I've been in offline education system for a very long period of time. I've been into online education for a very long period of time, setting up both the kind of businesses, setting training students in both the sides. My personal view and my experience with dealing with students is very clear. Today, I think, and Hari and Mamatha, correct me if I'm wrong here, at a industry, the way they look at offline or online, I think there's not much difference right now. What they look at is the skills. Now, what does this best create? Will an IBM professional come to your home every day to teach you what you need? I don't know, unless you have a relative or a family member who's actually been in that space. But what this program is bringing to your I won't use the word doorstep, but to your laptops or to your systems, to your screens, are such professionals present globally. All right. So I think one most important element which online education is bringing in is accessibility into quality professionals, quality teachers teaching you day in and day out so that your learning is being amplified. Second, look at the kind of convenience. Some of you, or rather, a lot of you are working professionals. For you to today quit a job and pursue something offline, a face to face for a rigorous 10-month with such a uncertain and dynamic market scenario, too many risks are there. If, however, while you are working, if you're able to be provided a parallel learning system which will ensure that you're continuing, you're earning at the same point of time, you're preparing yourself for a future growth. Isn't it a more lovely combination, more favorable combination? So I think these are some of the things. And again, the kind of cost, and cost is not always amount of money you spend in, but the kind of time you put in. If you have to go to an offline center, you have to travel. I mean, today's commute time, we all know the cost of let going of your jobs, the convenience. We all, some of us, a lot of us are on big baskets and other Netflixes. Other day somebody was asking me, pandemic is over, or rather perceptibly over right now, or we got used to it. Will everybody now only prefer offline learning and not online? And I told them, how many times over the last 6 months of pandemic is over have you been to a theater to watch a movie? He said once. How many movies did you watch through your Netflixes and your Amazons? Oh, I can't even count them. So understand the fact that we will still have an offline a sensation that is like a touch point, but end of the day, there's a convenience also comes into play. So considering all these models, I'm a very firm believer that online is a very, for a lot of set of audience, at least the ones which are present here, online learning is a very convenient and a very impactful mode. If you believe that you set into this audience, then I think you are understanding what I'm trying to drive. Hari, any other views you would like to express there?
No, you really did explain it very well, Sumant. That I'll just add up to it, stating that if you want to, as you rightly said, if you have a relative who can come in and explain this, absolutely wonderful. You can get the skills from them. But at the same time, it will be just one expert who is coming and teaching you personally, right? Here we are talking about experts who are going to be for every different person who has worked in the industry for a fairly long time, and you have worked on those projects. They will be coming and teaching you at the time which is convenient for you, right? And that is what matters end of the day, because there will be a focused learning which is happening at the time which is going to be completely off time from your working hours, or if you are in any other study medium, any college, or if you're a college goer, so it's not going to impact your study. And these are the classes which are going to be held in accordingly, so that it is at your convenience. The other aspect is to get the best out of the best. Okay. And so at your the nearest medium that you can get access to, whether a mobile or a desktop or a laptop. So that is the primary aspect. And the offline medium has its own benefits. But then, as you rightly pointed out, Suman, that means you have to take off from whatever you're doing to get into those classrooms. And it might be there will be travel time, there will be other aspects which comes into play. If you're not well, you can't attend those classes. So all that, those of course those impediments are also always there. But in an offline medium, then you're again stuck to only those experts who are located in that particular premises. Okay, you can't have learning from various people who are located in various cities or geographies. So that is the advantage that you get in an online medium.
I think that's a very important point, Hari. And been into education. I'm sure Lalit, you have a similar, probably will have share a
Definitely.
similar view on that. It is not just about from whom you're, from where you're learning. It's also the from whom you're learning becomes very, very important.
Right.
A lot of people believe that, what, I did a course, I went to somebody and learned it. No, but he or she, the qualified, the experienced person who's teaching you, which will actually enable you to move ahead in your careers. I think that becomes very, very important. That probably also answers one of the questions somebody has asked. There are a lot of IBM certifications which have, with I think with other partners also, Hari. What specifically is different in this program? I believe you've already kind of place
Yeah.
answered this question, saying this program is been designed. This program, has been designed with keeping in view exactly on the kind of career requirements a lot of you as audience are having right now. Okay, this is not a generic program which has been created, as a partner, as just to offer it to somebody else. Second, and the most important, the compelling element of this program is that it is being taught by IBM professionals, people who are working in IBM, people who are practicing what they have been teaching, and that's exactly what is happening. Every other place, and again, Hari, add if I have missed on something. IBM gives probably the content and somebody else delivers it.
Somebody else delivers.
You can, it's like, your baby, somebody else is bringing it up. There's a difference between you as a parent bring up the particular baby. So here, IBM, adopts you as their children to bring you up in their careers. So I think that's the primary difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or just to, sorry to
absolutely.
intervene here. Or otherwise, there are courses which are available online IBM courses, but those are self-learning modules. So you have to learn on your own. There will be no interventions or help coming in there. So those are also available. So, but this is completely hands-on. There will be mentoring, there is guide, there is projects. Everything comes in as a package to you.
Yeah. So the key thing is you want to have a complete package which will make you ready for, industry, or you want to look at the bits and pieces everywhere else as well. Yeah, Lalit, you wanted to add something.
No, I think just a psychological point. I think this uh, need for an offline class comes from nostalgia of college days, right? That is what we want to re-experience. But I think these adding skill courses are moving beyond that. As long as you're doing these so-called offline classes and you're going back to home, you're not going to live your college days. So it doesn't really matter whether you go to a place and take these courses, or they get delivered to you online. And again, whatever city or offline place that you're looking for is not going to have the best trainers or best teachers to teach you, right? If you believe that your city has the best, then what about others? So having the online courses, you get access to global experts, and I don't think offline really can offer that ever, whatever city you're in.
True.
So there is that. Yeah.
So then, closing remarks, from each one of you, Mamatha, starting with you, in terms of what to look in the future, in terms of careers, in terms of where the space is moving ahead, and preparation from a learner perspective. Your closing remarks.
So I think it's been an engaging conversation, and Hari, in fact, he gave us a lot of pointers, right? So we are in the era of disruption, and this will evolve, right? And various points we have been stressing that we have to continuously upskill, no matter how many decades of experience or we are a fresher in this world, we have to keep on learning, right? And for this, what drives is the passion, the interest, and the area in which you are strong, right? Identify your strength, your passion area, and keep moving, right? And Edology offers so many, the resources to learn. And I think we were debating on self-paced online and offline. So all this has got pros and cons in my view. But take the best what it works for you, right? Never stop learning, right? Even today, just like how lawyers and doctors read every day, so we have to keep moving with the technology, right? That's when you will really uh, continue with the growth mindset, and you will evolve as a person, and you can contribute better to the company, better to the world. So with this, I think it was great opportunity to interact with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mamatha. Lalit, your closing remarks as a teacher, as a
Right.
trainer, what do
Right.
you wish to the students?
So it's not only about the hashtag get skilled, get hired. I think it's also about hashtag stay relevant, stay employed, or stay hired, you know. So we have to keep that also in mind. Yeah.
Thanks, Lalit. Thanks, Lalit. Hari, been very passionate. You've been passionately, both in terms of creating these programs. I know, we worked very closely. You know what the kind of way you put in the effort and everything. What are your, words of wisdom to our learners, before you're signing off?
Yeah, Sumanth, no, thanks a lot, first of all, to the entire audience present here. Everyone has spent that time, and I guess it was worth their time. The only piece of information that I would like to share here is that uh, uh, if you are ever going to learn anything in your future, in your career, in your life, learn it from the best. Okay, and get the right learning so that it helps you evolve as a person and as a professional, and grows your career. It takes you to the next level. Okay, that is what is very important. Go through this entire program. I think the website gives you a lot of Edology website gives you a lot of information that we might have missed out or wouldn't have covered it because of the time requirement. So what I would just convey is that learn it from the best. Learn in completion. Okay, don't learn bits and pieces and imagine that you've learned that particular or have that relevant skills. So which is what is very important. Get the right skills right from the right source, and get it right, and so that your career can progress in the right fashion. All the very best to each one of you. Do very well. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much, Sumanth, and the entire Edology team here. Thanks.
Thank you, Lalit. Thank you, Mamata. Thank you, Hari. I'm sure a lot of you who have attended and heard us over the last 1 hour or so understood what all is required in the data science and AI ML career space, what you should be doing as a as a professional, as a student, to make yourself relevant, to look at all those number games, and all, more than that, to look at the kind of careers you're aspiring for. It's an open world. It's a world which gives equal opportunities to people at a starting level, and it's about you making the right moves, joining the right programs. And I think that's where I really want, I like that line what Hari has mentioned. If you ever want to be the best, learn from the best. at the element of learning, there are two areas I always believe we should never compromise on: healthcare and education. I think these are the two very critical. One makes you live, one creates livelihood for you. So these are two things which you cannot compromise on. So ensure that don't ever calculate a learning program with a quantum of money you're investing into. It's an investment. Ever, if you look at ever education always seen as an investment. And this I am speaking from my own experience, having coming from a lower middle class family. Education has transformed me from a league of lower middle class to probably an upper middle class. So I think that's the power of education, and that's power of education which unites all of us out here. Each of us are not just coming from an industry experience; we also come from an educationalist thought process also. That means when we are creating something for a learner, we see how will that benefit a learner, how will that benefit a student. Okay, I think that is where from IBM and from Edology we have launched two programs. One is focusing on data science, another focusing on AI and machine learning. Both of them are certification programs. The links have been once again shared for you. And more programs are coming through. I've seen a couple of questions which are asking about cloud computing, cloud architecture. So hurry, we know
Yeah,
what set of programs which are coming through. So
absolutely.
more very
True.
interesting suite of technology programs which are coming from IBM and Edology combination. This is going to be I come from a lot of media background, so this is going to be what we call as a master blaster combination, blockbuster combination, like a Rohit Shetty and maybe Akshay Kumar, or like a kind of a combination. So wait more, and all this we are doing is to educate you, to give you the skills, to make you as a learner, make you as a professional grow in your career. Because in your success, we take gratification. In your career growth, we feel satisfaction. Okay. Thank you once again for everybody to taking out your time and joining this webinar. More such webinars, more such knowledge, conversations will keep happening with you, and look forward to see you all in our programs so that we all succeed together. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Thank you once again, all the panelists. Good to have you here.
Take care. Bye bye.